they go back to. Oh, dude, I'm about to start crying right now. Oh, dude, you gotta talk. Dude, I'm fucking crying. I'm fucking crying. You got me. Holy shit.
I do not like Jujutsu Kaisen. I guess it's not that I don't like it. It's just like
But you haven't watched it.
I mean, I've seen like 5 episodes in the movie, so like I'm not gonna say I don't.
I've
like
seen
it.
enough, buddy.
To be fair, I always tell this with Trey too. I wasn't that big a fan of the movie. I thought
Right.
it was cool.
Yeah.
But I like the movie does it justice, especially like the way that the last season of it ends. I thought that was like one of the coolest season ending sort of things. I don't want to give away spoilers, but I mean, we watched Chainsaw Man, right?
Yeah.
And the way that Chainsaw Man ends, I like how like when like big battles and wars end in a sort of realistic way where you're actually losing characters that you care about. I'm not saying that I like losing characters, but I like where it's just like, yeah, every single person's not gonna survive in every single battle. I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen did like an okay version of that where like where it ends, you're at a place where you're just like, whoa, like where do you go from here? Do you know what I'm saying? I love My Hero Academia, but I feel like My Hero Academia's poorest thing is that they almost don't let you grieve. Like I think in that whole show, you've almost lost just like one character maybe at one time, or if somebody loses their powers, don't worry, in a couple episodes they're gonna get it back, as opposed to just being like, no, this is it, this is final, you know? Once again, I haven't read all Jujutsu Kaisen, so of course, like maybe there might be that sort of twist later down the road, or this, that, and the fifth. But I thought the way that it ended last season was great, and I really enjoyed Solo Leveling from just I guess a visual experience. You know, the story I'm not gonna say is like anything that's like super extravagant, but right now I'm really rooting for Don to keep its horniness and you know silliness.
Yeah, it's really interesting you bring up that point too of like kind of giving gravity to and depth to the battles and like consequences following it, because it feels like it's like My Hero or like, you know, obviously Dragon Ball, where it's just like you're watching every battle and you just know.
Yeah, there's no real risk.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like they just remove that risk by just making this person always be the victor, or there's like really no consequence no matter what happens.
Right. It's so important to have that fucking consequence.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a cool thing. Like I'm glad that they do have that. I think my issue with it is, I mean, I've said this before, is like I just feel like very much fatigued from the genre as a whole of demon slaying high schoolers and just kind of like that whole thing. And it does feel like, I think for Jujutsu Kaisen, like Jujutsu Kaisen is what Hunter x Hunter was for us, or maybe like, I don't want to maybe compare it to Naruto, but it does feel like a very new modern retelling of like the classics from like what we grew up on, kind of like the latter end of the classics, not like, you know. And it does seem like it kind of takes those better elements from it. I just think it was like when I was watching those first 4 episodes, I was just kind of like, I don't really feel any attachment to this. Like it just feels too familiar to me, and it's just hard for me. Like, and you know, sometimes like, yeah, you know, it's fine. The story, you know, battles are cool. Just watch it. And I'm like, I don't even care enough to really do that, you know. And it's like, it's almost like I know the battles are gonna be cool. I know it's gonna be cool, but like, is it really gonna be like, is it gonna stick with me? Like, am I really gonna feel it's a memorable time? And for some reason, I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, I don't know.
As far as fight scenes go, I feel like this year, out of all the animes that I watched, like the fight scenes in that show have stuck with me the longest. Like I really can't remember.
It looks great.
Yeah, I can't remember too many My Hero Academia fight scenes where I'm just like, okay, like that was super cool. Like they have had great fight scenes. I'm not gonna discredit season 7. There has been like great fight scenes, but then, like I said, it still like goes back to that thing where it's like fucking you know.
They're moving on too fast.
Exactly. Everyone's okay. Just the power of friendship's gonna steer us through this, as opposed to like where Jujutsu Kaisen, it kind of feels like, oh, like people are losing limbs, people are fucking, you know, actually getting out here, getting dismembered. Like this is his last fight. They don't give a fuck. It's just like, you know. And I also like Jujutsu Kaisen because there is that hint of childhood anime horniness with like one of my favorite characters in the show, where he's just fucking so
All goes
funny.
back to being horny.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking, I'm not gonna say that I like horniness, but I like the fact that you do make these guys teenage boys. They're teenage boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you care about that age, you know?
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
they care
yeah.
about fighting, you care about fucking girls, you know?
Yeah.
So one of my favorite characters on the show, I believe his name is Toto, or Toto. I could be it up, but I love him. And then the powers are cool. It is absolutely what you said, where it's just like another like spit out regeneration of like Naruto in this sort of way, shape, or form. And I guess that was what was cool about Hunter x Hunter, is that it didn't really take those Naruto elements because they kind of like switched up the team where it's just like here's these 4 people, but it's like kind of these 2 dudes or like in a team by themselves. It's just like they're like attaching to it, but it's not like the normal 3 where it's 2 boys, 1 quiet boy, 1 outlandish boy, and then 1 girl who's fed up.
Yeah.
I totally get your fatigue with that, you know, but yeah, I still think regardless, you know, it presents it in sort of a new light, and then it's also just like a play on it where it's just like the main dude who literally looks like a Kakashi clone in some way, shape, or form. So I totally get you being upset with that, but I think all their powers are cool. I think that the domain expansion is a cool sort of thing that they do where everyone can get like inside their own sort of world or whatever. I think it's hard to do a cool twist on the fucking same regurgitated, tired story, but I think they did as good of a job as you can do in this modern age.
Yeah. I think if you can find success in that storyline and really make it your own, that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, respect to them for even, you know, at the same time, it is like, yeah, that is the format that has worked in the past.
Yeah, it's
but
not
like,
broken, don't fix it.
Yeah. But there's a lot of different series trying to do the same exact thing. So it's like to do that well and to take it to the heights that it's gone to. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen's like, I feel like it's like the biggest one. Like it's like kind of usurped like My Hero and Demon Slayer. Like it is like, it feels like the show right now.
It's good.
You know?
It's good.
Yeah. So
I mean, maybe that's why we liked I loved Mob Psycho 100.
Oh my God, that was great,
it,
dude.
You know, because it was almost just like a sort of different thing. It's kind of in that same One Punch Man world where it's just like silly, stupid character, but it's just him, you know.
Oh my God, dude. I was literally looking at my review that I left for like the 3rd season, and I was like, it was just, not to spoil it, but I'm like, I just watched like this, I just burst into tears watching this buff green dude get killed by a talking piece of broccoli. And it's
You're
like,
really crying, dude.
This is the power of anime right here to do this shit. Like, it's
but
like
my tears with shows mean nothing. Like I don't know. There's some sort of chemical reaction in my brain. I don't know what it is about My Hero Academia. I could watch a filler episode. I might shed 2 fucking tears, dude.
Really?
Dude, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm a woman. I don't know if I'm fucking, if I'm going through something, if my hormones are out of whack. When I watch My Hero Academia, if they say one thing, it's like, I want to be friends with you. And I'll just fucking, oh God.
Just be his friend
already. I'm fucking, dude, I'm nothing. Like, I mean, spoiler, there might be like one scene in the show. I guess this isn't even gonna be like a big scene because I'm also doing such a terrible job remembering names. But you're a Gravity and she's fighting, I believe her name is Toga or something like that. The girl who cuts people, uses their blood, and then she can take their quirks.
Yeah.
They're fighting, and then they get into like one sort of scene, and I'm not gonna spoil like where it is, but at one point during the fight, they're like talking to each other and just trying to reach like a peaceful agreement, and they're wrapping up the fight, and the girl who's the one who steals the quirks, she has like an abused childhood because she's addicted to drinking blood. Her parents think she's a monster, but deep down, she just wants to be told that she's pretty and that everyone cares for her, and that like her quirk is not ruining her. Like, it doesn't make her a freak. It's just naturally who she is, and she can't help it. But she just had no one accept her for who she is. And your Gravity is pretty much just accepting her that, yo, I know who you are. I know this isn't who you want to be. I know this is just naturally how you are. But no matter what, I think you're beautiful. And then the girl is just like, but do you think I'm cute? And then she like smiles with tears in her eyes. Tram on this fucking couch, head in my fucking hands. Dude, tears streaming down my face. I'm just like, yo, what? Now I'm like, what's wrong with me? This is dude, because it wasn't even like the craziest writing, dude. I'm really here crying.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, and then you like walk in after, I'm just like, oh, I'm just like staring at the ceiling, dude. I don't know what it is. It always gets me. I don't even think I cried that much at Jujutsu Kaisen, but an anime that's made me cry the most is fucking My Hero Academia and Naruto.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've shed my fair share of tears.
Oh yeah, you shed adulthood tears to Naruto.
Yeah.
Like real man tears to Naruto.
Yeah.
The Asuma Sensei Shikamaru scene, I just rewatched it on Twitter, dude. I was dude, I'm getting goosebumps now. I can fucking cry to it just thinking about Shikamaru like avenging Asuma, dude.
Jiraiya.
So good.
Jiraiya makes you cry, but something about Shikamaru.
Yeah.
I think it was really...
That's also special because like it's not like you even really care about those characters up until that point. Like Shikamaru's cool. What's his name?
Asuma Sensei.
Asuma Sensei. He's like it's cool, but like that episode, just the amount of like
just how human his reaction was to the
yeah.
loss. I think it really surprised me that Naruto had such like I think an advanced like level of character with that.
Yeah.
You know, like it was crazy how, and it was just like the animation, like it was so weird because it was like one of those episodes where like, you know, like you just look at an episode, you know, it just looks better. Like they got it like that movie kind of like studio look to it. And it was like it was just showing that like that raw emotion on his face because it's like there's no action in it, but it's
There is
just
some sort of, because he's like fighting the dude and he gets him all tangled up and like that's where like
Was that
Shikamaru gets like his super special move where you're like in the shadow thing and then he has like the bombs everywhere.
Yeah, oh, you're right. I forgot
So
about that.
there's it's still like a fight scene going on, but it's just mostly, it's like they go
What's your
back
CG?
to, oh dude, I'm about to start crying right now. It goes back to Shikamaru playing,
Shogi, yeah.
dude, you gotta talk.
I'm about
to start crying right now, dude.
It was just so real of his dad because he's like, dude, you have to let it out, you know, like you just can't act like this shit's gonna eat you if you don't have a moment where you just fucking breathe and just wild out and let your emotions just go. And
you just start crying like an anime character. Just really heavy breathing. No, it's fucking impressive. I think that's what makes a show great. You know? That's what
Dude,
makes
I'm crying.
yeah.
I'm fucking crying. You got me. Holy shit.
R.I.P. Asuma.
Oh, holy
We
shit.
still
crying
over
years
him.
later. You know what I mean?
It's just
right now.
Anime character. I've lost people in my life I haven't cried in son, you know? It's just crazy.
It's so crazy though, because dude, when Shikamaru's dad died, it was like, we gonna miss that. You know?
It's just fucking like when I'm just thinking about him slamming down.
Yeah, just the way he just like tore up the room. You could just feel
We
his
gotta clip up
frustration.
this whole hour. I did not expect us to go into weeb talk.
Dude, what is the name of this podcast, Brian?
Oh my fucking goodness, dude. Holy shit.
Good though, keep crying. We'll use this as the intro into the whole hour of weeb talk. Yes.
Animes that have made us cry.
Those tears. We live up to our name.
I can't believe I just fucking broke. I really just fucking cried. Like I was trying to retell the story and I just started fucking crying.
I think it happens with me every time with
We
like
gotta put that
comments.
episode
Yeah,
on tonight.
Dude, what killed me is that somebody just posted the scene on Twitter. It was just
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm literally in my room just staring at my phone sobbing.
Yeah.
I can't even get through it. I don't even remember it like picture perfect, but the fact that I'm just thinking about him playing with his dad, just you fucking saying it. Man.
Dude, I think what really got me in Naruto was finding out like about Itachi and like his whole past, and they were showing the flashback of him killing his parents, and he like Sasuke remembers again. And he's like, oh, he was crying, and he like his whole life he was like, why was he crying? And then like he put the pieces together, and it was like, oh man, that killed me. It was like, dude, he really did all.
Sasuke was crying?
No, why Itachi was crying,
crying,
like
yeah.
while he just had to kill his entire clan, like,
To
it's
avoid that war.
crazy. Yeah, dude, I think they did a really great job with that story. And another big moment was the Zabuza and kind of Haku
The
story.
Zabuza is
That's
actually
the first
one of
time.
the best
Yeah.
fucking like
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
villains
first
ever,
episode.
dude. Even I rewatched that not too long ago and I
Yeah.
cried.
It is different
Yeah.
because like before, like we used to watch Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z, where like the story's great. It's just like more fun, more cheerful, more
Yeah.
playful.
But it didn't like hit you.
Yeah, it didn't hit you
Yeah.
to that core. And like I
Yeah.
must have been like 10, 11, 12 or whatever watching Naruto for the first time. And
Yeah.
that episode comes up and you're just like, I'm
Yeah.
crying at an anime, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I'm crying on a Friday night, just
Yeah.
in my kitchen, just
I
being
think
like, what
Zabuza
the
is
fuck?
literally one of Naruto's
know?
best.
No, I mean that's one of the best arcs. I think that's
arcs,
fucking amazing,
yeah.
dude. Especially that ending when his arms were broken, and it's like, oh my god, that was like legendary.
Yeah, that's why to me Naruto is the GOAT anime.
Yeah, of course, dude. It was like, it's what started f***ing everything, but there's a reason. Like, it still holds up this well. It's still talked about as it's even more popular than when we were younger, you know, which is crazy to maintain that level of popularity throughout what,
Because people are
25
starting to
fucking
get
years.
into it.
Yeah.
now, yeah.
But I mean, it's still it's great fucking stuff, dude. You know, it's the
Back
essence.
then, you still have to hide it.
I know, right? Like,
Man, like it's so crazy how different it is now. Now there's
Yeah.
like grown men in like full anime get-ups on the
Yeah.
internet, just being like, "I love
people
Naruto."
been too accepting of it now.
Yeah, exactly. That's like cringe.
We gotta start bullying.
Let this get out of hand.
But like they just weeb out. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Cause then they'll be like, I'll be talking and like a girl you wouldn't expect, like, to watch anime. It's not like
Yeah.
the typical girl with bangs, you know,
Yeah.
or tattoos. Like it's like this white girl, blonde, looks like she's wearing Vineyard Vines t-shirts. And
yeah.
she's like, yeah, I watch anime. I watch JoJo. So I was like, what? Like,
Yeah,
what's happening? The times are changing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have got so much if I just grew up 10 years later, just weaved out. It's like, I love Sailor Moon. What?
You didn't love me when I was talking about this.
Yeah, exactly. Where were y'all at? Don't switch up now.
I don't want to fucking hear it, dude.
Exactly.
You know,
What I
it's-
think Naruto did very well too was doing the cornball in like dialogue where I was just like getting Gaara out of that slump, or even like Naruto talking to Sasuke about like friendship or whatever.
Believe
Just,
it.
yeah, just like saying the cornball like that. And I think a lot of animes can't replicate that. Like I think My Hero Academia, like it tries to do that just way too much, where it's just like the
Yeah.
power of friendship, or whatever. You know, I think Naruto would do that with like the sort of thing where it's just like you don't have to deal with this alone. I just think that the way that they would write it would be like more believable, and they would use the corny lines at better times as opposed to My Hero Academia. They're just
trying
using
to
wherever.
throw
It's
it
like,
in,
You
yeah.
just need friendship. It's okay. You're not alone. But I feel like with Naruto, when they would hit their breaking point, then he would pull out all this shit. It's just like, I know
It's more
how it
authentic.
feels.
Yeah.
Because that'll be another thing that Naruto, maybe that's what it was. Naruto
Yeah.
would bring it back to him. It's just
Well,
like,
Naruto also, like, he was a cornball. Like, his story was so much more, because, like, oh, he's already, like, this orphan. So immediately he's outcasted. But he's not, like, a bad, like, you're rooting for him. You're not like, oh, this guy's kind of cringe. Like, you want him to win, obviously, because his name is on the show. But you're just like, oh, this guy, like, he's cringe, but, like, there's, I think everybody has a Naruto in them, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, or been a Naruto at some point in their life.
but he wasn't like a.
You didn't hate
Yeah,
him.
no,
You're
he
like,
was
oh,
like-
this guy's annoying. He sucks or whatever. You're just like, oh, like, no, he is cool. He is gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
granted, again, you know it because like his name is on the show, but he was just dealt a bad hand.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, these guys aren't with him.
And there
because
was almost like this painful.
they don't understand him.
Yeah, and there was like this painful realism almost to like. I remember there's one episode in the beginning where like he's living by himself in this apartment. They go to his apartment while he's not home. They like look in his fridge. There's like a month-old rotten milk, you know. And like he would just go home, just have a ramen, and just sit in the dark every day. You know, like that's crazy to be living that life at 10, but to just insert that into a character.
For sure, it's just like, yeah, it's like, oh, this guy is getting treated like he's a loser, and then like you look around in his classroom, like, you guys aren't that much cooler than Naruto either. You know what I mean? So why are you outcasting this guy when you
Yeah.
guys should just be friends with this guy? But I also like, get it.
Yeah,
Whatever's
when
in
you
him
got
almost destroyed your village.
Yeah, a gigantic demon in you. I
Yeah.
guess it's hard to like the guy, but it
Yeah.
was like, and I think it just did a really good job. It was like you kind of got both sides, but like you just, you know, they picked like the best, I think, protagonists to do that with.
But
What's it
even
called?
like early with Aruka Sensei.
Oh my god! Oh, the
that
first episode's
episode,
and
and you're just seeing Aruka Sensei, dude, another time I just.
yeah, and this is like, dude, to put that on display and to make people cry one episode in, it was like Naruto had the best opener. It was like, oh, you know, like it was like badass ninja shit, tears, emotion, like this is the shit, and it just maintained that for so long. Like, do I think it definitely? I think the whole friendship thing, like, and that's low key, like, I feel like a big joke in the Naruto community now. It's like how Naruto kind of uses that talk, like, you don't have to do this. Like, everybody.
It's like, yeah, it was like Gaara, like all.
Yeah, no, I think Gaara, it made sense. Like, Gaara,
Gotcha.
he had a great arc. I think with the Pain shit, the way Pain kind of ended, I was kind of like, all right, like, maybe, I guess it made sense, but I felt a little like, it's kind of wild. He was just like, all right, cool. I'm just going to retract this whole plan now after this 20-minute conversation. Like, it felt like maybe it should have happened a little slower. And I do think the Obito shit too. It's just like to undo a lifetime of belief
Trauma, yeah.
in one conversation kind of seem, like, and it's like they try to like act like, okay, well, they saw kind of both sides, throughout their life, but they kind of just chose this path. Like, I guess they do a good job of showing like these aren't completely two-dimensional characters that always thought this way. Like they always kind of had these ideas. They weren't always bad people. They just chose a bad path. I get that. But yeah, I mean, I guess I should be grateful for it considering what the Naruto is now with Boruto, where we just have villains that mean nothing and are all albino for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, they also need to just let series die,
No, they can't,
dude, I've been trying to
dude.
watch Boruto. Oh my gosh, dude.
Dude.
So bad.
Dude, dude, I'm, me, like, I watch garbage.
Yeah.
Openly, I love, like, sometimes just put on some shiny.
It's because you've
clothes.
already seen it, and like they're trying to make it shiny and like feel like.
Well,
it's
I mean, it really
real,
just feels like a bad Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Like where I'm not really at a point where I'm like seeing real character development, and it's cool because like Boruto's cool. I don't hate Boruto as a character. It's just I just hate the show.
It's just not going anywhere, and they're just kind of rehashing Naruto, except like it's all kind of like cuter now, and the stakes aren't as really high. But I mean, I don't know, dude. It's the fact that it's still going is a miracle. But they just make too much money. Like, dude, Naruto makes too much money. It is more.
Money
than
is the root of all evil.
Yeah, it's more than an anime now. It's a fucking franchise, dude.
Yeah.
That's why we'll never see the end of that in Dragon Ball. Like, there's too much. But much respect to these series because Naruto's kind of fallen off. Dragon Ball still has pockets of cool. I mean, I was watching Super the other day, and like, I think as a show, the pacing is still horrendous. And I'm like, it's not that fun to watch. But I think the designs and there's still cool moments that happen here and there. So it's like to have a series going after like 40 years to still have that, I guess you can't ask for too much more.
Let's talk about the best anime episode that has released this year. I don't know if did it come out this year or did we watch it last year?
Is this all anime podcast?
Oh, Pluto.
Pluto.
Yeah.
Was that the first or second episode?
That was
of
the
Pluto?
first episode.
The first episode of Pluto. If you guys have not watched this, this might like one of my favorite anime episodes ever. And I'm just speaking, of course, like so many other people have seen so many more animes. I don't care about your opinions. I'm stating mine.
Yeah.
That first episode of Pluto, barely any action, and I'm not one of those guys who just watches animes without the action.
Yeah.
I'm here for the shiny fighting, for the bullshit. I'm here for the tears, of course, but I'm here for the fighting when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And for that episode to barely have any sort of combat or whatever, it's such a boring episode on paper.
Yeah.
Whatever they did, dude, the music, the art, the story. That first episode of Pluto, I'm not speaking for the rest of the series. I don't care about the rest of the series.
Yeah.
That first episode, man, literally for you to make me fall in love with the character, the way they built it, just the pacing, it's so slow and it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It literally feels like they could have done a whole movie just on that.
Oh my God,
fucking thing,
I
dude.
wish they would have.
Yeah, they would have been better than the show.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. I think it was such a great individual story, and I really wish the rest of the show took that format of just showing like the relationship between robots and humans and just kind of being different stories through, with different people. That I thought would have been an amazing approach. But yeah, that was a phenomenal first episode. I think just all the emotion they put on display, but it's like it was just so subtle, just the use of that piano as like an emotional device.
Yeah.
Like it was fantastically done, dude. I was f***ing floored by it.
Yeah.
I really, it's been a while since the anime hit that. I feel like we're just doomed to watch animes that are just have amazing pilots into it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is,
Like, damn.
If every anime had an episode that was that good and then the rest of the series fell to shit, I wouldn't even be that mad.
Yeah.
Because you've given me 20 minutes of some of the best TV I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that was so fucking good.
Yeah.
If other people want to argue or break it down, I'm down to talk about it. But just coming from my experience, my biggest thing just when watching something is, of course, I want to be excited. I want to be like, okay, the fighting was cool. But at the end of the day, I want to feel something. And for you to make me feel so much in such a was it an hour or was it 20 minutes?
It was actually an hour.
It was an hour? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's why,
Yeah.
I was able to get into it. But it felt like a Breaking Bad, like, level of fucking
Yeah.
just I don't know, just build up, just the sound design, like you said, the use of the piano
Yeah.
and just the characters.
Yeah, I think the dialogue was so good. The old man, he was just so funny. And
Yeah,
it was just, But he
dude.
was like just that perfect, like just old bitter with a heart of gold who just,
exactly.
like, oh my God, they really, really hit that so well.
Yeah.
And it just kills me because I really wish I loved, because I think, I mean, I've talked about this plenty, but his other series that he made, Monster, which was the same author as Pluto, like did that so well, I think, for a whole series, which is also on Netflix. Pluto and Monster on Netflix. Highly recommend, looking at both. But it's just really impressive how well he's able to like write characters from, such a personal perspective and give so many depth. And that's the thing, like in Monster, dude, it's crazy. Like that's my favorite thing is like there's like 10 different main characters. They spend so much time exploring so many other people, and you're like, wow, I'm so invested in everyone here, and that's hard to do. And I think they did that really, really well in that. I wish there was more animes that made me feel, evoke the same emotions that those two did, at least in the first episode with the second one. But it's a hard thing to do, and I think that's a big beef that I have with animes as a whole. Is this like, I love them, I think visually, and I think a lot of them have really good story elements, but I think in terms of writing, it's pretty hit or miss in a lot of animes. Like it feels like,
Yeah, a lot of the dialogue in a lot of animes feels like I didn't have to listen to any of this.
Right.
So when I do see an anime where the dialogue carries, it's so much more of a surprising thing, because I'm expecting dialogue to carry in like a Sopranos HBO kind of show.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting the conversation between these two characters to truly get me feeling this sort of way, unless it's in that sort of, unless the battle is matching that, where they're just trying to match how good the battle is with some sort of like emotional thing. But with Monster, there was like no huge battle. It's nothing.
Right.
It's literally just like two characters, one room, and it's beautiful TV.
Yeah, it's very much like a traditional kind of thriller, and I think it's cool because it's kind of like utilizing the anime medium in different ways, where it's like, we're not gonna make this hyper crazy unrealistic world. We're gonna make it surprisingly grounded. Even the colors are very muted and very like, almost like real, which Pluto was very different, obviously, because it was a different world.
Yeah.
But it's just impressive to use the anime medium and see like, let's see how grounded we can make it. But once again, that's hard to pull off. I've been trying to watch more like slice of life animes and see if there's anything that really sticks out to me. I watched like Erased. That was like a 6-part series. It's like a pretty popular one.
Would you consider Death Note a slice of life anime?
No. I guess Erased isn't a slice of life anime, but I guess more so thriller animes that aren't shonens or straight to action.
Yeah.
Death Note, I think, Death Note was a thriller, but I wouldn't say I was like emotionally invested, but everything was just so over the top, and it was just like every episode you're just like, how many steps are these planning at? Like, dude, how the and just seeing how much more they thought out, and it's like, how ridiculous is this level of planning getting? And that was the appeal of that. I think that was like a whole different type of series, but it was like, that was one of the first early examples of like, oh, nobody's throwing hands here. It's really just this cat
evil
and mouse.
Wilfred is what it is.
What is that?
It's just evil Wilfred.
Evil Wilfred?
Terrible comparison, but like if you think about it, just some crazy dude talking to somebody else that nobody else can see, and it's fucking, he's just doing way worse,
That would be so funny if it just Death Note, but instead of Ryuk, it was just Wilfred.
That would be funny.
You're doing a lot, mate.
Kill him, Ryan. He took my ball.
Kill them all.
I want to cover this world in peanut butter.